All right, guys, welcome back to another edition, another lesson here in Ijakadi African Martial Arts, particularly in the instructor's program, okay? So we're just going through the curriculum step by step, okay? Building up from the foundation, from the ground up, right? Because again, Ijakadi is Pan-African, right? We're focused on the unity of African people, okay? So philosophically, it's important that we understand how to build from the ground, okay? Historically, we have been disconnected from the earth, from our land and our motherland of Africa, right? Our homeland, okay? So we as African people, it's important that we reconnect to the earth, right? To nature. We are nature-based people, right? Solar charged people, okay? So that's why we have our melanin, right? Because we're sun-based people, right? We do well in the sun, in warm climates, right? And in earth, right? With nature, okay? So it's important that we have that connection to the ground, okay? So we start with our footwork first. We build from the ground up, okay? Everything starts with your footwork, your movement, right? Where you can be in relation to your distance, right? Also generating power, right? Power comes from the ground. Everything starts with your footwork, whether you're talking about defense or offense, okay? So keep that in mind. Now, previously, we've been working on our Jinga, right? Working on this movement, okay? And we've been working on it from the standpoint of, I got to fight from my right leg forward, neutral stance, or from my left leg forward, right? I can turn in my Jinga, right? I can take half steps in my Jinga, half step forward, half step back, whatever the case may be, always moving the closest foot, okay? Now we're going to talk about doing a full step, right? Now we understand that a full step is just like you're walking, right? I'm just walking, taking a full step. Now, the full steps are great for advancing or retreating. Full steps are the fastest way to move forward in a fight, okay? If you have to go forward fast, a full step is the fastest way to do it. However, it's also more risk, right? Because for that moment while you're taking that full step, your foot is off the ground, okay? You're on that one foot, which means if you get hit, or if you fall off, it's easy to get off balance, right? When you're on one foot, okay? So keep that in mind, right? However, you can use a full step to advance forward and to attack, right? Bam! I can come in with a full step, okay? Meaning that I'm taking my back leg, stepping in front of my front leg. Bam, right? Just as if I'm walking. One foot steps in front of the other, okay? That's a full step, right? So I can full step forward, okay? Or I can full step back, okay? Now, we understand in Ijakadi African Martial Arts, we are dealing with two types of lines. Whether we're talking about footwork, whether we're talking about defense, whether we're talking about offense, doesn't matter. We're talking about moving or defending and attacking on a straight line or a curved line, okay? Understand that, right? So anything that you do in Ijakadi, understand you're going to have variations, right? So when I talk about my full step, I can certainly take a full step on a straight line, right? Where I'm just moving directly back, okay? Or straight forward, right? Straight forward, okay? Straight forward, straight back, okay? That's a straight line, okay? So if I am defending myself and I'm being attacked, certainly I can move back on a straight line, okay? But a lot of times you don't want to move back on a straight line. You end up in a corner or something like that, right? So we want to circle as well, right? We have straight lines and curved lines, okay? So if I am using my my full step here and I'm taking one foot, let's say I'm stepping back, okay? And I'm taking one foot and I'm gonna move it behind my other foot here. So instead of going straight back on a straight line, I can now turn, go on a circular line. Now to do that, I'm gonna turn on my back foot. Remember how we talked about we can turn in our Jinga, right? So I can turn, right? Just by turning on my toes here, on the balls of my feet, I can turn and face different directions, right? I can turn, right? And same thing in our Jinga, right? I can turn, right? Jinga, turn, okay? So we're gonna do the same thing with our step, okay? So again, if I'm stepping back, instead of going in a straight line, keep my foot where it is, okay? I'm gonna turn this foot and now I just circle, okay? So now look at that, switch my hips now, right? So now my hips are facing this way, or previously, they're facing this way, okay? Why is that significant? It's significant because you can use the energy in your turn to deflect an incoming attack, okay? So again, he's attacking me. I can certainly move back on this straight line, okay? And maybe I'll be quick enough to get away, okay? But I can also move back and turn, right? And turn, okay? So I can use the energy of his incoming attack to turn him, right? To turn and move, right? This also puts me at a slightly different angle as opposed to just a straight line going back, okay? So think about those circular lines, right? Because when I'm turning, when I go back on a straight line, you see my right foot just goes directly back. On a curved line, it's circling, right? It's circling out on a curved line, okay? So that's another way to move, another way to step, okay? You can go straight or you can circle, okay? That's just a way to move your feet, okay? Sometimes you may circle, sometimes you may not. Depends on what you want to do. Straight lines, of course, are more quicker, more direct, okay? but there's also disadvantages to it because it keeps you on that same line of attack. So think about that in terms of full steps, okay? Full step forward. Now, a lot of times when I'm doing a full step forward, we're doing this for offense, right? We're attacking, okay? So I have full step forward, right? So we talked about moving on a straight line. We talked about moving on a curved line, okay? But you can also move on a straight or curved line at a diagonal, okay? Not to confuse you guys. I hope you guys are taking notes because there's a lot of stuff to cover here, okay? But I can go on a straight line and certainly attack, right? With, let's say I'm attacking with the same hand or same punch that my foot is stepping. I can certainly attack here, but I can also attack with the opposite hand, okay? A lot of times what I like to do when I'm using the full step, I like to step instead of on a straight line, because again, I don't like to stay on the same line of attack, okay? I like to move at angles, okay? And that's what we do in Ijakadi African martial arts, okay? We use physics, nature, geometry, right? We use math and science, okay? To win fights, right? So I want to move at an angle, okay? Meaning that I'm going to take a full step. I'm going to take my back leg in front of my front leg, right? This is a full step, but instead of going on a straight line, I'm now angled, right? So I'm moving at a 45-degree angle while I'm still attacking on this straight line, okay? So let's review that again. So I'm going to step on that straight line, okay? Or going the other way, okay? Either way, I'm stepping this way and I'm going to turn my hips to help protect the groin. It's not 100% safe, right? Because you can still get kicked in the groin here, but it's better than leaving your hips this way, right? And trying to attack here, okay? Also, I want to turn my hips because that turns me into the strike, okay? Into the punch here, okay? So when I'm here, no matter where you are, okay, I can step, right? Turn my hip. This hip is turned in with the punch, okay? If I'm using this hand, okay? Now, obviously, if I'm using the other hand, I'm not going to step really out of 45 because I really can't punch effectively from here, okay? And if I'm stepping with the same hand that I'm punching, typically you're going to go forward or you're going to switch and go to the other side, okay? So that is a full step, right? Straight line, curved line, or also either of those two at a 45-degree angle.